Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Ajax Public Library's program Adulting Spring Cleaning, presented by Melissa Maker from the popular Clean My Space. My name is Julia Campbell, and I'm the Adult Services Librarian at the Ajax Library. I just wanted to start by covering a couple of housekeeping items. Tonight's presentation is being recorded, so I would ask that you please keep your webcam and microphones off so that you are not displayed or heard in our recording. And we will have a Q&A portion after Melissa's presentation. So if you have questions for Melissa at any point, please put them in the chat and we will save all of the questions for the last 15 minutes of the program. And just to get the chat started, if you don't mind sharing where you're logging on from today in the chat, I would love to see where everybody is tuning in from tonight. We have closed captioning of our program today, so if you would like to turn on the captions, you can do so by clicking Live Transcript at the bottom of the Zoom screen and then Show Subtitles. If you experience any technical difficulties this evening, I recommend that you exit the Zoom and re-enter. If you continue to have difficulties, please place a comment in the chat and I will do my best to assist you. So now it is my pleasure to introduce our presenter for tonight, Melissa Maker. Melissa is an accidental cleaning expert because she hates to clean. While Melissa has delivered her expert advice on cleaning products, tools, and DIY substitutes for over 10 years, she wasn't always a cleaning pro and understands that people are looking for practical, time-saving solutions to everyday problems. In 2006, she launched Clean My Space, a cleaning service in her hometown of Toronto. And in 2011, she decided to create digital content to help drive bookings by launching the Clean My Space YouTube channel. And since then, the channel has amassed over 260 million video views and over 1.9 million subscribers. She also founded a microfiber cleaning tools company in 2016 called Makers Clean. We are very lucky to have her with us tonight, so without further ado, I will turn it over to Melissa to start her presentation.
Hi, everyone. I'm just going to stop sharing my screen for a sec. Nice to see everyone's blank screens, but I know you're there. I'm delighted to be able to share some spring cleaning info with you this evening, and I'm not going to type it in the chat, but I am joining you just west in Vaughan. That's where I am this evening. So without further ado, I am going to hop back onto my presentation. So just give me a quick sec here while I do that. There it is. And the idea behind tonight's presentation is to walk through spring cleaning and regular cleaning, because one of the things that I see as, someone who involves themselves quite a bit in the cleaning space is kind of this pressure online that we see on social media where people say, have you been spring cleaning? What have you been spring cleaning? How much time are you spending spring cleaning? Like, it feels very overwhelming. And for so many of us, our parents never sat down and properly taught us on how to clean, let alone how to spring clean. So part of my, let's call it adulting experience, was learning how to clean when I first moved out. And of course, when I started my cleaning company, which happened in close succession. And that's part of so many people's journeys as well. They have to learn how to clean and do laundry and cook and a whole bunch of other domestic tasks. Spring cleaning is a bigger part of cleaning, and or I should say like a subset of cleaning, but it's quite a bit of cleaning. So I want to cover that off this evening. And like Julia said, feel free to throw your questions in the chat box, and I will cover them off at the end of the session if I haven't covered it already. And I will just say in advance, I spent the entire day filming. So if I'm a little marble mouthed, it's because I did a lot of talking today on camera. Okay, so let's advance. And I'm really delighted by my presentation, I have to say. It's so dynamic and it moves and it's fun. So in this session, we're going to cover the difference between a regular clean and a spring cleaning. We're going to talk about all of these checklists that you might see online, whether it's on Instagram or TikTok or Pinterest, and how you can kind of parse through those and make them work for you. Then we'll talk about some Clean My Space lingo, including MIAs, PTTs. We're going to cover some basic PTTs. DIY, it's not my lingo, it's just sort of generally accepted lingo. We'll talk about some DIY cleaning recipes. I will share with you some online resources, and then Julia has amassed a lovely number of titles that you can take out from the library if you want to continue to pursue the topic of cleaning by taking out some books. And then of course, we'll finish off with Q&A. All right. So a little bit about me and Clean My Space. As Julia mentioned, I'm an accidental cleaning expert. And I say that because to this day, I still find the idea of cleaning horrible. I've never enjoyed it. I graduated from the Schulich School of Business in 2005. It's so sad that I have to really stretch myself to remember that. It might even been 2004. Anyway, it was back then, mid 2000s. And I took a job working at a bank. It was the first job I was offered out of school. I actually really wanted to get into marketing if I had to take a job, but I really, really wanted to have my own business. And while I was working my corporate job, I realized how unhappy I was and how unfulfilled I was in not pursuing my dream of entrepreneurship. So I quit my job working at the bank, which was a pretty bold move. I gave up a salary and good benefits and stability. And I looked around for a good opportunity. And I know that opportunities exist where people struggle, and people struggle with cleaning. And I know that because I struggled with cleaning. So rather than going into a business that I was passionate about, I went into a business helping people in an area I knew they were struggling. So I suppose you could say I went into a business that I was passionate about in terms of helping people, but not actually passionate about the subject matter. Anyway, all that to say, my then boyfriend, now husband, recommended, shortly after I started the cleaning service in 2006, that we make YouTube videos as a way to get cross-referenced on Google and to help our website rank better, because of course, YouTube had been newly acquired by Google in and around that time. So we started putting out YouTube videos. We had absolutely no plans or goals. Obviously, that would never happen today. People are so strategic when they put things out on social, but back then it was just another way to throw something at a wall and see if it stuck. Timing and luck was definitely on our side. It ended up working out well. We built a pretty nice audience, and it has gone up since then. I've had wonderful opportunities to work with brands ranging from Scotch-Brite to Dyson to True Earth to Tide. I'm just trying to think. I'm looking around my office to see what else. Like so many wonderful cleaning brands over the years. Microban, Clorox. It's been a crazy ride, especially for someone that hates cleaning. And in 2017, I'm very proud to say I had my book come out, which Julia tells me there are 3 copies of at the Ajax Library, called Clean My Space, The Secret to Living Better. Oh my God, there goes my AirPod. To cleaning better, faster, and loving your home every day. It's an awesome book. I'm very proud of it. And I designed it to be a cleaning Bible for people that they wouldn't declutter. And in 2016, so backtracking just a shade, we started our own line of microfiber cleaning tools as a way to serve our audience who wanted premium quality microfiber cleaning cloths. I use this to clean my glasses and my screen all the time. And we're just really proud of that. So anyway, and you might see me on TV or see my name in a magazine from time to time being quoted about some cleaning something or other. So that's a little bit about me. I'm also a mom. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and I'm a cat mom, and I wish I were a dog mom. Anyway, that is a little bit about me. So now you know who's talking to you about cleaning. Let's get into spring cleaning versus regular cleaning, because I want to be very definitive between the two so that it's easy for anyone who's attempting to spring clean to understand what they should be doing or considering when they put time into this particular job. So as you can see here, spring cleaning is kind of the heavy duty once a year jobs that we try to avoid doing at all costs, the ones that we push off and say, I'll do another time. But truthfully, these are the jobs that we have to do to maintain our space and prolong the lives of our finishes, fixtures, and appliances. For homeowners, this feels a little bit more meaningful than I would say a renter, because of course a homeowner or a landlord would be responsible for these things should they fall apart. Renters, if they're living in a home long term, might want to make sure that, you know, they're taking care of their appliances and, you know, making sure things don't build up on windowsills. But, you know, typically in a renter's experience, they would not be as concerned. I know when I was renting, I never really thought too long and hard about spring cleaning, at least the things in the home that were finishes or fixtures or chattels, if you will. But my things I always thought about. Spring cleaning is also that time of year where we think about doing kind of the testing and the maintenance. So whether it's, you know, changing out our furnace filters, checking our CO2 detectors, making sure that our all of our oh my gosh, fire extinguishers are up to date. Like, we want to make sure that all of that has been handled. We want to do our big declutters. Maybe it's the time that you take all of your household hazardous waste to a safe drop-off depot. So it's kind of that time of year where we're doing those bigger jobs. And it's also, you know, traditionally speaking, in Asian cultures, I'm Jewish, and in our culture, we do a big cleaning around spring, which is around the time of Passover. It's oftentimes a ceremonial thing as well, you know, where you sort of bring in the spring season with a clean sweep. So that's kind of the origin and what spring cleaning is all about. But then regular cleaning, when we sort of contrast that to spring cleaning, is what we do on a regular sort of weekly, daily, bi-weekly, monthly basis to keep our homes looking and feeling clean, as in free of dirt, grime, dust, germs, etc. So hopefully that gave you a bit of a way for you to envision the two separately. And in my cleaning business, for example, when we go in and do a regular cleaning for someone, we have a checklist that has about 60 points on it. And when we go in and do a one-time clean, you know, whether it's a tenant turnover cleaning, whether it's a big, you know, cleaning, they haven't had a cleaning done in say 5 years, or whether it's a move-in, move-out cleaning or a post-reno cleaning, we almost double the amount of work that we do during that time. So on the topic of checklists, of course, you can type in spring cleaning checklist on Google, and you can go to Pinterest, you can find them, you can find challenges online, on Instagram, on TikTok. I mean, people really go to town when it comes to spring cleaning. And as someone who takes the position of they really dislike cleaning, I actually find those spring cleaning checklists to be overwhelming, because it makes me feel like I'm somehow not measuring up because I'm not doing all these other things. So what I recommend is, if you do want to get a footing with spring cleaning and you want to use a checklist, do a search, pull a couple up, and have a look at them and see what makes sense to you. What feels like you want to do it? What feels like you need to do it in your home? And we'll cover off in the next slide, when we cover MIAs, exactly how you can make that determination. But what I think is important is to look at them and know that you can probably take a pen and cross 2/3 of the stuff off that list right away, because it might not apply to you. It might not be necessary for you. Like it just, you might not care about it that much. Someone might say, you know, they might have a whole chunk of stuff on a checklist saying, you know, clean your fireplace, and sort of go through all the different things you have to do to clean your fireplace. You don't have a fireplace, strike that off. So for me, when I actually started to look at those checklists and parse them into what actually made sense for my space, it felt so much easier. So I would say that would be step 2, after, you know, amalgamating a few different checklists and getting some information. Just strike through anything that doesn't apply to your home, because then you're cooking with gas. You're actually looking at something that you can use. And then you can kind of put together your checklist of things that you want to do and things that make sense for your space. Now, following that, we're going to talk about MIAs, or most important areas, because after I've done that and I've looked at my checklists, and I'll even show you in the book, like, because my publisher was insistent that I had checklists in my book. So, you know, I did put some together. And I was a little concerned because I thought, oh my gosh, people might feel really overwhelmed when they see this. But one of the things that I did, and if you have an opportunity to check out the book, you can even see the frequency. Like I spent the time going through the frequency of how often I thought someone should be doing that task in an average home. But let's talk about MIAs, or most important areas, because when you go through a checklist, I want you to know that not everything you see on a checklist has to be done all the time or even at all if it doesn't matter to you. So I'll give you an example. When we're spring cleaning and we think about how much time we have, let's say we only have 2 hours that we want to dedicate a week for 4 weeks, so 8 hours total. We have to say to ourselves, of all the things on these checklists that I have now amalgamated and crossed off, what can I get done in 8 hours? But what is most important to me? So I recommend that people go into each room and they kind of look around and they wait to see what causes a visceral reaction. If they look up and they see cobwebs, does it freak them out and bother them? Or do they not care? Well, if you don't care, then maybe this spring is not the time where you have to focus on your cobwebs and you need to use a part of that 8 hours to do something that's more important to you. But when you get to your kitchen and you look inside your oven and you see that your oven is a disaster, well, maybe your oven is an important area to you. So what figuring out your MIAs does is it gives you a ranking system so that you can understand your personal priorities when you're looking at your checklist that you have sort of now customized down for yourself. And the reason I like doing this is because I find cleaning overwhelming, I find spring cleaning overwhelming, and I find looking at checklists overwhelming. So by figuring out your MIAs, or your most important areas in your home, you can then prioritize, and from there, you can assign an amount of time that you're going to dedicate to that job. So let's say now I know I want to do my oven, my fridge, all of my baseboards, and my windows. Great. Now we have a plan. Now we can start formulating what we need, how long, and when. And that is when we really start to feel good with spring cleaning. When I talk to people who have struggled with cleaning over the years, they'll often say, the best thing I can do is to get really specific about the jobs I'm going to do, how long they're going to take me, and the right products, tools, and techniques that I need to use to get the job done right in the least amount of time, which means I have done my job correctly, because that is what I'm all about. Now, PTT is the next clean by space lingo that I want to share. And it's the thing that is, to me, the next most important thing when we think about spring cleaning, and that is understanding the products, tools, and techniques required to get the job done right the first time. As someone who hates cleaning, as someone who had to learn everything about cleaning from the ground up to not only start and build a business, but to then train staff and have repeatable performance from them so that we can offer consistent service. And then, of course, to create our videos and teach this content online in a number of different formats and to put a book out, I needed to have a consistent structure and a way that I could teach and explain cleaning. And that's where I came up with PTTs. So before you even think about doing a cleaning job, even if you think you know how to do it, or of course, if you don't know how to do it, take a beginner's mind approach and do a little bit of research to figure out how to get the job done right. Because even if you do something a certain way, because that's the way your mom did it, or that's the way your roommate did it, and that's kind of the one way that you learned how to clean, there might actually be a better way to do it that saves you time. Or perhaps you've been using the wrong cleaning tool or the wrong cleaning product all along. So just take a few moments and go to a reputable cleaning expert such as myself. There are plenty online that you can check out. I'm going to share some at the end, people who I think are doing a really great job in the cleaning space who you can use as additional resources. But our job as cleaning experts should be to teach you how to get this job done. And I personally am all about efficiency. I can't with wasting time in cleaning. It just doesn't work for me, and I get miserable and frustrated. So what I've done in this next slide here is I've listed out some basic PTTs, some things that I think everyone needs to have in their cleaning arsenal, whether it's up here or in their cleaning cupboard. So let's talk about the cleaning products first and foremost. And I will just give a caveat that with a lot of the cleaning products, I make my own. It's extremely cost effective. I also will never continue to use a cleaning product that I've DIY'd if I'm getting inferior performance from it. And I also know where to draw the line. So I don't make my own laundry detergent. You know, pre-COVID, I would make my own disinfectant. I do not do that anymore. I really think we just need to rely on the people who study this stuff to make our disinfectants on a very regular basis. But then, you know, for a lot of the things that you see in the product list, we can just build them ourselves with very, very basic items that we can pick up at a big box store, or we can even find at home. So first up is an all-purpose cleaner. And an all-purpose cleaner, when I got into cleaning, I was like, what even is an all-purpose cleaner? But it is exactly what it sounds like. It's to cover, you know, essentially most surfaces in your home. And I've come to use my all-purpose cleaner, my DIY all-purpose cleaner, which I'll share with you in the next slide, on about 80% of the surfaces in my home, because it's simple, it's neutral, so it won't harm any surfaces. And because it has some surfactant in it, some soap, it lifts dirt off the surface without leaving a residue behind because it's well diluted. A glass cleaner, of course. So for windows, mirrors, and any other glass surfaces we have in our homes. I've a glass railing on my staircase. I've got a glass shower door. So, you know, there are a lot of different reasons why I need glass cleaner at home. Again, I make my own. I used to buy store-bought glass cleaner before I started my business, but the DIY version works so well. In fact, we just filmed a video about it today. Next up, toilet bowl cleaner. Sounds obvious. It is designed with a specific shape. It kind of has like a crooked neck on the top of the bottle. That is very definitive for a toilet bowl product, no matter the brand you get. And that is to allow you to flip the bottle upside down and easily distribute the product directly under the toilet bowl rim. You can make your own toilet bowl cleaner. I prefer the store-bought stuff. Floor cleaner is dependent on the type of floors that you have. If you've invested in a certain type of hardwood floor, if you have tile, if you have natural stone, if you have luxury vinyl, if you have laminate, if you don't know what you have, it's good to know, first of all, what type of floor you have so you can clean it properly and safely. And second of all, I always recommend for floors not to clean them too often with product. I think we over clean our floors. So unless, you know, there are lots of pets at home or people are wearing shoes or you have toddlers that are whipping things around everywhere, generally speaking, our floors have more crumbs and dirt built up on them than they do kind of sticky things. So even in my own home, you know, on our main level, we have hardwood. We don't mop it nearly as much as we vacuum it. Just because I have found over the years that it's not as necessary. Heavy duty degreaser and a soap scum cleaner is next up on the list. And that is really important anytime you're doing cleaning in the kitchen or the bathroom. Of course, a soap scum cleaner is designed specifically for a tub and tiles in the shower, but a heavy duty degreaser is really important for the kitchen and can oftentimes do work in the bathroom as well. Even a powdered cleanser type product like Comet or Barkeeper's Friend is really great to have on hand for that purpose. I always love my cleaning trio: vinegar, baking soda, and dish soap. Vinegar is a natural deodorizer. It also cuts grease. Baking soda is a whitener, a brightener. It has mild abrasion and it also provides deodorizing properties. So it's like, it's this magical, inexpensive cleaning trifecta. I love baking soda. We go through boxes of it a year. And dish soap is a pH neutral soap, generally speaking. You can also use Castile soap, which is a vegetable-based soap. Dr. Bronner's, if you've seen that brand ever, that is a Castile soap. It's really great to use as a substitute for an all-purpose cleaner when mixed with water. pH neutral soap means that it is safe to use on just about any surface it's safe to use water on, and it won't ruin that surface. There are a lot of other cleaning products that are available, you know, on the cleaning aisle of any big box store or small store that you would go into. I either find them superfluous or very niche, which is why I don't mention them. But if you have any specific questions about cleaning products, of course, you can drop those in the chat. So those to me are the basic products, the P's that you need to have on hand to accomplish a cleaning. And then I am hopelessly in love with essential oils, and I love adding them to my own products. I mean, I even just sprinkle them on tissue and I just have them sent at my office. I just love them. So I didn't put that down on products, but that's a fun thing to add if you like scent and working with your own essential oils. Next up, cleaning tools. So covering these off, we've got a good vacuum. I'm really big in the buy once, buy well mentality. So I know there are a lot of vacuums that are available for $100 or $150. I would recommend investing in a vacuum that is a great quality brand that will last for many, many years, so long as it's properly maintained and provides you with excellent filtration and has a really good suite of tools. To me, that's important because so often inexpensive stuff ends up in the landfill, and truthfully, it never works as well as those more expensive quality brands. So for some people, like for me, it's shocking. I would never ask for a vacuum for my birthday or for a holiday gift, but so many people in my audience have told me that they asked for like a Dyson stick vacuum for Christmas or for their birthday, and people like ask their family to pool money. So, you know, it wouldn't work for me, but for so many people, that's something that they've done and they've really loved it. And actually my nephew, who moved into a condo last year, it was like his big accomplishment when he got a Dyson stick vacuum. He felt like he had really grown up in that moment. It was pretty cute. Next is a mop and a bucket. Very important depending on the type of floors that you have for you to decide. I use a flat microfiber pad mop for my hardwood floors as well. I have luxury vinyl here in my basement, which is where I am right now. And I think that that is superior. I used to use a twist mop, like one of those stringy mops, but I've actually come to prefer the flat mops. I think you get a much better finish. Sponges, very important to have them, and very important to change your sponges on a regular basis. That is 30 days or less. I have spoken to people who make sponges for a living and test them rigorously, and they have told me that no matter what you do to a sponge, shock it in bleach, microwave it, put it in the dishwasher, like just the cellular structure of a sponge means that it will never quite be able to release all of its bacteria. You'll never be able to fully disinfect it. So you do have to replace it every 30 days. Make sure that you delineate between a heavy duty sponge and a non-scratching sponge. If you use a heavy duty sponge on a stainless steel appliance or a sink, it will scratch. So just be mindful of that. Microfiber cloths, talked about those. When I first started my cleaning business, I was advised to pick those up instead of rags, old cut up t-shirts, which is what I had previously read, or terry towels. Both leave a lot of lint behind. They're not very absorbent. Microfiber cloths cut cleaning time in half or more. They also reduce the need for other textiles, as well as other disposable items like wipe or paper towels. I do think there's a time and a place for wipes and paper towels, but only in a one-off use, like cleaning up chicken juice or when you're cleaning a toilet seat. Toilet bowl, cleaning brush, goes without saying. Cleaning toothbrushes, I think, are very handy to have around. Just take your old toothbrush. It's a great way to upcycle it. Just make sure you clean it and label it. I have one for the kitchen, one for the bathroom. That way there's no cross-contamination. Multiple spray bottles are great. I have several. We label them with a Sharpie, and then that way for our DIY products, we know exactly what's in them. And they're very easy to clean out, by the way, if you ever want to reuse them. If you purchase a store-bought product and you know that it's a great quality spray bottle and you don't want to chuck it in the recycling, rinse the bottle very well until it runs clear. And then for the trigger head, fill up the bottle squirt it a bunch of times. You can even add a few drops of food coloring. And when you see the entire trigger system run clear of that food coloring and clear of bubbles, you know that the bottle is clean. And of course, your garbage bags, those are important to have too. So those are basic tools. Again, there's so many more we could cover, but when I was thinking about what would a basic cleaning tool look like if I were 25 and had to figure this stuff out for the first time, I think that is pretty solid. And yes, I'm spending the most time on this slide because this is the one where I can give you the most juice. This is kind of like a really, really quick short form version of my book. Well, one chapter of the book at least. Now, when we talk about techniques or the T's, I think these two are really important. One of the first things I noticed whenever I watched movies, like, you know, when they say surgeons watch movies and they kind of like react to or make fun of the way that someone on Grey's Anatomy does a procedure, I kind of do the same thing when I watch people clean on TV. And what I notice is that they don't use the right techniques. And one of the biggest no-nos is when they're wiping a surface. Let me just take my cloth here. They'll do kind of like the circular cleaning like this. And that is the worst way to do it because you're basically taking dirt and you're just swirling it around and spreading it back onto a flat surface. Rather, the way that we clean, and I have been talking about this for years and years now, any surface, whether it is a vertical or a horizontal surface, is by using what I call the S pattern. So quite simply, the next time you go to clean, take your cleaning cloth, fold it in quarters like so, stick it in the palm of your hand, go up to your surface, whether you're doing this on your table or your mirror or whatever else, you're going to use an S pattern where you find one corner here, one corner here, and you just sort of S or zigzag your way down from top to bottom. Now, if you think about this on a mirror, it avoids streaks. And if you think about this on a surface like my table, for example, any crumbs that you have, you sort of sweep along with you and you kind of drag it down right to the bottom. And in cleaning, everything falls from the top to the bottom anyway. So when I clean a surface, whether I'm dusting or if I'm just cleaning up my kitchen after dinner, everything goes on the floor because the floors are always done last. And that way I don't have to waste time sweeping things into my hand, running over to the sink. Everything just goes on the floor and then I worry about the floor last. Now, speaking of the floor, the next technique I have is what I call the W pattern, which is how you get those beautiful cut lines in vacuuming. Now, I have a whole video on this, and in my book, I actually have a diagram of the W. I can't believe I opened the page to it. I'm so proud of myself. There's the diagram of the W pattern right there. Fun fact about my book, I hired the artist for this book based on her credentials, and one of her fabulous credentials was that she was a pattern designer for Kate Spade. Bragging, I know, but anyway. The W pattern essentially means that when we vacuum, we want to have clean cut lines in our carpet if we're vacuuming a carpet. But even if you're vacuuming a hard floor surface and you can't see the cut lines, there's still an important reason why you would want to use the W pattern. You're going to go up once, and then you're going to slightly go on an angle and cross over the work that you did by half. And then you're going to go up, covering half of the cross that you just did, and then down on an angle, up straight, down on an angle, and you work your way across the room that way. When we are supposed to vacuum professionally or properly, you're supposed to cover each space at least 2 times, if not 3. So the W pattern gets 2 points of coverage and also gets you a uniform and consistent look. You might have to move things out of the way to do so. 3-wave system means we work our way around the room 3 times. The first time we start at our entry point always, which is our door. We work our way around, doing wave number 1, which is tidying and getting rid of any clutter in the room that doesn't make sense, because it's impossible to clean a room that's cluttered. Taking out all the glasses, the garbage, the sweaters, the socks, anything that doesn't belong in there, move it out. The next wave, we go back to our starting point. We work our way around the room. I've got so many videos on how to do this on my YouTube channel, by the way. It is like the method for cleaning. My audience is crazy about it. The second wave around the room is actual cleaning, the stuff that we've been talking about, the polishing, the dusting, the disinfecting, removing dirt, like all of that work happens. And then the third wave around the room all happens on the floor. We remove garbage, we vacuum, we mop, we're out of there. Decluttering and organizing, sort of the chicken egg question. People always say, should I clean first or should I declutter first? Or should I declutter and then clean? And then they just don't do anything because it's overwhelming. As far as I'm concerned, the decluttering has to happen before the cleaning. And frankly, you want to declutter before you organize, and you want to do both of those things before you clean. To me, it is utterly impossible to clean a messy, disorganized space. All right, let's talk about two more. The first one is the eye level test. I love the eye level test because it is just, it's like a secret gateway to perfecting your cleaning. And it's so easy to do. Anytime you clean a surface, you want to bring yourself to eye level of what you just cleaned. So pretend my book is my table. And I've just cleaned it. I did this today in my kitchen, by the way. I always do it because we have like a marble, it's kind of looks like a Dalmatian. It's like this speckled black and white countertop. You can't see anything on there. So I have to go down to eye level, and then I see crumbs and jam and all the things that I missed. So when you get down to eye level, you can really see everything. It kind of illuminates it. It's like it shines one of those UV lights. It's like the same thing. Same idea. You can kind of see those things that you otherwise miss. So that's how you really get to the next level of detail. It's like a pro tip. And then dwell time. So dwell time has to do with understanding your product and how long it needs to do its job properly. A lot of us learned during COVID that you can't just spray on a disinfectant and wipe it off. But in fact, if you read the bottle of the disinfectant, it will tell you that it needs to sit for 5, maybe 10 minutes before it can actually kill bacteria. The same goes with soap scum in a bathroom. You know, people see a 30-second commercial where someone sprays a product on and wipes it off, and it's like a perfectly shiny tile. And they're like, wait, why didn't that work for me? Well, actually, a lot of these products need time to mechanically remove the dirt, you know, that's remaining on a surface. It doesn't happen on contact. So we have to understand our products, and then we have to let them sit or dwell on a surface for the prescribed amount of time before we clean it off in order to get the desired result. And that is a pure lazy person's move. Like once you understand the dwell time required for a cleaning product, you can actually invest so much less energy in cleaning because now you're cleaning smarter, not harder. All right, I'm going to cover off some of my easy DIY recipes. I will also tell you, I should have mentioned this earlier, this presentation is available after, so you don't have to furiously write this stuff down. This is also available in my book on my website. We talk about DIY. It's like one of the things Clean My Space is famous for. You can see all of my recipes here, but the all-purpose cleaner I was telling you about earlier, 2 cups of water, half teaspoon of dish soap, 5 to 10 drops of your favorite essential oil. Put in a clean bottle, shake it up. I use it, I mean, we make a bottle of that at least once a week. We use it all over the place in the house. Glass cleaner, equal parts water and white vinegar. So inexpensive. And if you have like a really grimy surface, you can add a spoonful of cornstarch to that mixture, which I know sounds really weird, but the cornstarch provides this super fine abrasion that just gets your glass like next level shiny. It's awesome. The hard floor cleaner, if you want to write that one down, there's quite a bit in there. You can go ahead and do that, or you can just wait until after. But I'm not going to run through each ingredient, but the reason I love that is because, oh my gosh, hardwood floor cleaners are so expensive in store. And this is like research discussed with many manufacturers. This is like a safe, amazing alternative that you can use. And then the heavy duty scrub, we just did a video on this last week. I've been using this for years. It's a 1/2 cup of baking soda, a 1/3 cup of dish soap, 20 drops of citrus essential oil, which has D-limonene in it, which is an excellent natural degreaser. You mix that up, you get kind of this like pudding consistency. You scrub it on a surface, go to town, and it is an incredible heavy duty scrub. So here are some terrific resources that I've pulled for you where you can see both my cleaning information as well as some other great people online who I think are providing great pointers about cleaning. Now it's Clean on Instagram, Clean Mama on Instagram, and Go Clean Co. On YouTube, I've got me because I'm biased and I really do think we have the best cleaning videos on there. Got tons of websites for you. Apartment Therapy, The Spruce, Good Housekeeping, by the way. The expert Carolyn Forte, she is like one of the most OG people in the cleaning space. If you can find any article by her, you would know that you're getting the most up-to-date, well-researched info on that website. So I really love it. Real Simple is great, The Kitchen, and Bob Vila. And then of course for books, I wrote here a list. I wrote here that the Ajax Public Library has curated a really awesome list of materials, including my book as well. So with that, I promised a 7:45 finish, and you're getting a 7:45 finish so that there are 15 minutes left for questions. So I'm going to stop sharing at this point. And Julia, I'll hand it back to you and we can go through some cues.
Thanks so much, Melissa. That was an amazing presentation, and I love how you timed it perfectly. We do have a few questions, so I will get to those. So the first one was, what should we clean hardwood floors with besides vacuuming? And their floors are maple.
Yeah, so with hardwood floors, and I'll say this about any other soft floor, slate is another type of flooring that you want to be really mindful of. Sweeping and vacuuming, even luxury vinyl, like what I have here in the basement, sweeping and vacuuming is crucial because it removes the debris that can scratch your floor. When it comes to cleaning the floor, I had an amazing DIY recipe on there. And again, you can have access to that presentation after. So you can whip that up. I also have a video, several videos on my YouTube channel demonstrating how to whip it up and how to use it. So you should totally check that one out. But essentially what you want to do with hardwood floors is you want to be very careful with product and the amount of moisture that you're getting on the floor, which is why those flat mops are, to me, superior tools to use. So what I do is I take a flat mop pad. I don't personally use the spray bottle method, although many store-bought products, Bona has, like, if you're going to go buy one, I would suggest Bona or Armstrong. Those would be my two top choices. Otherwise, just make your own. And when you think about sort of the flathead mop situation, you're going to take your flathead mop. I fill a bowl with my product or a bucket. I dunk the pads in there. I wring them out until they are damp dry, which means I touch them and they're damp, but they're not dripping anything. Like I can give them a good wring and nothing else is coming out. I just want them damp. Then I will mop the floor using an S pattern, going in the direction of the grain of the hardwood, meaning in the direction that the floor is laid. I work section by section. And if you notice there's too much moisture left behind, if your floors are dark and you're concerned about streaking, you can have a dry cloth handy and just quickly throw that on the floor, stick your mop on top of it, and it doesn't even have to look pretty. You can just sort of sloppily use it to just sop up any extra moisture. Your floors will shine. Now, another recommendation that I have that so many people don't think about is to wear indoor shoes. These are my lovely Adidas slides that I got for Mother's Day last year, and they have become my indoor shoes. You can look at the bottom, they're absolutely clean. And these are important to wear because your feet are oily. And if you walk around bare feet, you will see footprints all over your hardwood, especially if you put like cream on your feet. Anyway, so just consider wearing socks or indoor shoes around the house. That was a long answer, a lot of information, but I hope that helps. And I hope that you get nice, shiny, clean floors after that.
Thank you so much. I love the detail in your answer. I'm sure it's very, very helpful. The next question is, do you have any recommendations for how often to get air ducts cleaned?
Yes, I do. Air ducts should be cleaned anytime you move into a new home. anytime after a renovation, otherwise every 5 years. I don't have more detail than that.
That's
That's like the
great.
standard recommendation.
And then what about outdoor windows? Do you have a recommendation for that?
I do. So what I love for outdoor windows, and I said we were filming a glass cleaning video today, and that's part of what we did. So I recommend a big rectangular bucket or bin. You might have like an old storage bucket, like one of those Rubbermaid bins. You can use that, or you can go out and get a fancy rectangular bucket, whatever floats your boat. You can repurpose something, why not? And then what I love using is a double-sided squeegee. So you can find these on Amazon, you can find them at Home Depot, Bed Bath & Beyond, but basically they kind of look like those things you see at gas stations for cars. One side is spongy, one side has a rubber tip, like a rubber tipped squeegee. So it's double-sided. Fill that bucket with 2 liters of hot water, 2 cups of white vinegar, and a big generous squirt of dish soap, maybe a tablespoon. That's your solution. You're going to dunk your squeegee in there. You're going to start from the top, work your way to the bottom. It's actually one of the most soothing, and I rarely say that, but I always say this about cleaning windows. It's one of the most soothing jobs, because then you flip over your squeegee to the rubber tip and you just go top to bottom, left to right, and everything just comes so clean. And on a day like today, the sun shines into your windows, and like, you want to feel accomplished. Like if you're feeling down one day, just do that to your windows. I never say this about cleaning, but that really will lift your spirits. It feels very rewarding. That's all I'm going to say about windows.
Great. And how often would you say that needs to be done? Would you say yearly?
Yeah, that is something that people do around this time of year, because the winter is so it's so yucky with everything that kicks up during storms and salt and snow and sand and all that yucky stuff. And then with the spring and a lot of rain, you're still going to get a lot of that dirt coming up. So you might want to do an initial one now-ish, and then you might want to do another one toward end of May, early June, when the rain has sort of stopped and the sun really starts streaming in, but do it on a cloudy day.
Great, thank you. The next question is, what degreaser do you recommend for the overhead exhaust?
This is a great question. So the DIY version that I talked about is extremely powerful. I love using it for that purpose. The most important thing with the overhead exhaust is dwell time. So apply the product, let it sit wet, and let it sit for a while. Now, another option, I have 2 other options that you can try. There's a product called Pink Solution, which is a Canadian-made product. It's an enzyme-based product. Enzymes are kind of like vegetable-based, it's kind of like digestive enzymes. That's the best way to explain it. And it basically digests grime on a surface, and it's totally safe. You can pick it up online. It's called Pink Solution. You dilute it according to the package instructions. You would use the heavy duty mix, spray it on the surface, let it sit wet, even for 20-30 minutes. And then the longer you let it sit, the wetter it is, the easier it will be for you to wipe off. The third option is to use a steam cleaner. So if you have a handheld steam cleaner, they are phenomenal at blasting away that grease. Every time I do it, like just for visual excitement on our YouTube channel, it just always impresses me. It works very well. It does take a bit of work to like get it out and set it up, to be honest. But if you have one handy, or if a friend has one that you can borrow, that'll do a great job.
Great, thank you. I love how you've given a couple of different options for that one. So the next question is about air purifiers. So someone said, all during COVID, I keep hearing talk about why people in condos or apartments should buy an air purifier. Do you think they're necessary?
I mean, I can't see a reason why one wouldn't want an air purifier. I mean, I can't speak from a medical or an epidemiological perspective. I just know that air purifiers are designed to clean air. And if you're living in a space that's a shared environment on some level, personally, I would want an air purifier. We have a couple in our house, And I know when someone is sick, that thing is running 24/7. There were even a few times, no one in my family has had COVID, but there were a few times where I'm a little bit of a hypochondriac and I thought I had it. And I holed up in my room and I blasted the air purifier. Like, it just works. What it's designed to do is clean the air and purify the air. So I can't see a reason why it wouldn't be beneficial. Again, I would recommend the buy once, buy well strategy. So get a really great brand name one that has done extremely well on consumer tests. And I would make sure that I maintain it well too, so it can last a nice long time.
Great, thank you. The next question is about decluttering. So the question is, do you have any tips about decluttering your clothes?
Oh, so many tips. I love this topic. I do a closet turnover twice a year. I don't have one of these like bedroom sized master walk-in closets. And I was sad at first when I moved in, but now I so appreciate my small closet because it makes me very meticulous about what I keep and what I get rid of. So I do a closet changeover twice a year. I'm just about to bring out my spring summer bucket of stuff and fold away all of my chunky sweaters. And what I do upon putting my stuff away and taking it out is I go through it, what fits, what doesn't fit, what do I like, what do I not like? And then I will first and foremost try to sell it either on Poshmark or on Facebook Marketplace, or take it to a place like Style Exchange, Plato's Closet with my daughter's stuff, Once Upon a Child, or I hand it down to my sister who also has a daughter. So that's with clothes. Also right now we're in a situation where we'll probably be getting an influx of refugees. There are already a lot of refugees coming in. There are also plenty of organizations that love taking good quality donations. If you don't like your work clothes anymore, there are so many people who need great clothes to go to work or to get an interview, and feel professional and feel successful. So find an organization that meets your personal, like if you have professional clothes, find an organization that's looking for professional clothes. I would say the last thing to do is just to dump them in a bin. Almost 90% of that stuff ends up in a landfill in Africa. I've done a lot of research on it and it's very, very sad. So find a good home for your clothes, declutter at least twice a year. And that exercise will also teach you to become a better consumer. You will be more mindful about what you buy, you will buy less, and you will buy better. I can guarantee that.
Great,
I hope
thank
that
you.
helped. Yeah.
Any recommendations for odor remover for carpets?
Yeah, lots of recommendations. You can shampoo your carpets. You can rent one of those rug doctors from the grocery store. If someone has one of those Bissell carpet shampoo machines, you can use those. We had one because our basement had carpet, our previous home had carpet, and we actually sold it on Facebook Marketplace because we removed all of our carpet. But it's very useful to have. That really helps at removing odors. You can also bring in a professional carpet and upholstery cleaner. That's a great thing to do around springtime. Once a year, it's a bit of an investment, but the amount of stuff that comes out of that carpet really makes you feel a lot better about yourself once it's done. You're like, okay, I'm not living with that anymore. I used to recommend baking soda and sprinkling baking soda on carpets, but I'm always learning and changing what I do based on the best research that's out there and the best info I can get my hands on. And the vacuum manufacturers that I talk to say that baking soda can really do a number on the motor. So if you do want to use that technique, just make sure that you're using a wet dry vac or a shop vac so that you're not going to be killing the motor, and you're using a vacuum that's specifically designed for fine particles. And of course, vacuuming regularly, keeping shoes off the carpet, all those best practices will also really help at reducing odors.
Great, thank you. And you just mentioned baking soda, and I know you were raving about it earlier. And I love that it's something that likely everybody has around the house. So what's your favorite thing to clean with baking soda?
Oh, that's not a fair question. I mean, I use it every day. I use it for cleaning my sink. I'll take some baking soda, I'll sprinkle it into my sink, take a sponge with some dish soap on it, and it scours my sink so beautifully. Like I remember my mom used to buy a product to do that. Like baking soda, it's 99 cents a box. Maybe with inflation now it's $1.39, but it's very inexpensive. The other thing that I do with baking soda, this is a very hot tip. Like if you've made lasagna or feta pasta or whatever the heck you're making, and you've really ruined your pot, or it's just really gross, take a spoonful of baking soda, fill your pot with hot water and add a squirt of dish soap and let it soak overnight. Now, hot water and dish soap is helpful. Baking soda adds an extra level of abrasion that makes cleaning it even easier. So that dwell time plus all of the properties of the hot water, the baking soda, the dish soap, it's like, it totally makes the job easier. It's pretty great. And it's so easy to do.
That's a great tip. Thank you. I never would have thought to use it for those pots and pans that get really, really grimy. So thank you for that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no
So we're at
problem.
8 o'clock. We're out of time. So I just wanted to thank you, Melissa, so much for joining us and for your amazing presentation. I hope everyone enjoyed it tonight. As I mentioned, the program has been recorded and will be posted on our YouTube channel in the next couple of days. So if you know of anyone looking for some awesome cleaning tips, please feel free to send it their way. If you have any comments about tonight's program, you can feel free to leave them in the chat as you're leaving. And I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of their evening.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great one. Good night.